Did you know that Mother's Day was originally called for by a Unitarian woman, one of our forebears, as a day for peace? Her name is Julia Ward Howe. Julia became a powerhouse poet, an abolitionist, and a social activist, especially for women's rights. She is most famous for writing the Battle Hymn of the Republic in 1861. She nursed and tended the wounded during the Civil War and worked with the widows and orphans of soldiers from both sides of the war. She raised 5 children and insisted on PT, precious time, or time for her studies and writing. The first book of poetry she wrote was entitled Passion Flowers, that she published anonymously because it was considered too emotionally intimate for a married woman at the time. In 1870, she called for the creation of Mother's Day, or more specifically, a Mother's Day for peace, urging women to unite against war, which was meant to be a political day for peace as much as a celebration of mothers. Now, Julia Ward Howe grew up as an Episcopalian and became Unitarian when she got to know Margaret Fuller and joined one of her Fuller's groups of women of conversations. And Margaret Fuller introduced her to Theodore Parker. She and her husband, Samuel Gridley Howe, became so close to Parker that Parker pulled them into William Lloyd Garrison's anti-slavery circle, and Samuel Gridley Howe was a member of the Secret Six that supported Captain John Brown. Now, I bring this history up not only because the founding minister of this congregation, Augustus Conant, was mentored by Theodore Parker, but because Norbert Chapek, the founder of the Flower Communion, was deeply influenced by Parker's writings. They both had a deep commitment to progressive religious ideas that extended beyond the traditional boundaries of their time. They both shared relentless courage to keep ideas alive despite facing significant persecution and rejection. And through their prophetic sermons, they built congregations where literally thousands and thousands of people attended. With a similar prophetic call, Julia Ward Howe issued her proclamation for Mother's Day, in which she said, "Arise, then, mothers and women of this day. Arise, all women who have hearts, whether our baptism be that of water or of tears. Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands shall not come to us reeking with carnage for caresses and applause. Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we've been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience. We women of one country will be too tender of those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs. From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own. It says, disarm, disarm. In the name of womanhood and of humanity, I earnestly ask that a general Congress of Women without limit of nationality may be appointed to promote the alliance of the different nationalities, the amicable settlement of international questions, the great and general interests of peace." Yes, Julia Ward Howe was an idealist. She was a transcendentalist. She was a Unitarian. And here and now, may our own faith be buoyed by the joy, the beauty, the friendship, we share. So we can live not only in love's warm stream, but also live courageously. To live courageously in a world filled with fear, where there's simply too much hate, too much injustice. And this faith that we cultivate with one another begins with where we are. It can begin with a simple flower, recognizing we are all different, and yet we belong together. We come from a seed, and we are called to bloom and blossom. So much is in bud within us, among us, even beyond us. That here, as we celebrate the flower communion, we lift up the memory of Norbert Chopek. We affirm that call in our hearts for peace everywhere, and reaffirm our commitment for a community where we support one another in our religious and moral development. May we be grateful to gather together this day. Blessed be. Amen.
Visit us at uusg.org.